So now I've got plugged up. This is set to auto on the right next to the rocker switch. Pull this open. I've already flipped it on by pushing it forward, and I've got my lens open. So this is the camera. Okay, so when you get it, go through all the main things that you're going to want to know. One is there's the lens cover. So it's real easy to not know where that is if it's closed. Okay, now the power supply, these things, if they're charged, will run about 2 hours, but if you need to access the power supply, it's right here. It might be pressed down, so you pull up this little door. Now there's a yellow, that's an AV port. You don't want that. You want the little black one that's kind of hard to get to. So I'm going to get the adapter, the DC cable, plug it in there. Okay, good to go. I'm going to plug up this dude. So now when it's plugged up, you'll see a little light come on. It's charging, and this right here is your viewfinder. You can look through here as well, but it's just a lot easier to flip this open so you can see everything. Now, turn it on. Right here is our power switch. If I go forward, it says camera. If I come back, it's going to say media. We can see what we have recorded. So I'm just going to slide it forward. And voila. So I don't see anything on the lens, on the viewfinder, so I'm going to open up that guy, and voila, now we can see this. Now this is all touch screen, so you can access the menus if you need to right here, but if you just need to get up and running, turn on the power, push this forward to camera, flip out your viewfinder so you can see what's on there, and then this is your record button, or this is your record button. Both of them do the same thing. Very key thing I want to point out. You have these different options here. So if I'm holding it, where I'm holding it with my hand, if you look here, next to this is your zoom. So you can see me zooming into the wall, zooming out of the wall. Right next to that zoom, it says M. There's an auto that's green, and cinema right here. So most likely you just want to go to auto. Now you can do it while it's on. You'll see the screen goes black whenever I switch it back and forth. But we want to just go to auto. That's the simplest thing to do. You don't have to adjust any of your lighting, anything. So now we're set up to capture. This is just like a run and gun video. You don't have to really do much of anything. All right. The next thing I want to make sure that you're aware of is there's a button right here where I'm touching with my thumb. That is your auto to manual focus. You probably just want to set it on auto so you don't have to worry about it. That way the camera automatically focuses when things are close. When you get away, it'll adjust for it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and your sound. Now this is probably the most critical thing. So on the side of these, we have this unit here. It's kind of weirdly labeled. Right now, this is set up to use an external microphone. If I want to use the internal microphones, I need to make sure that this is switched, this middle switch is off. That turns off the hand unit up here. Okay. So if you want to use these external mics, you have to turn this little center switch on. Okay. Channel 1 and channel 2. This is their gain control. If you put those on A, that's for automatic, right? But if you set it here on M, it's manual. So you have to manually adjust the level of each microphone by turning these little dials. And you need to make sure that this is switched to the appropriate setting. So if you have a condenser microphone, it requires 48 volts. And so you switch it on here to 48 volts, okay? Now, the microphone itself plugs in right here. So you plug up your mic and then do all your adjustments to it right here. If you want to use external mic. If you don't want to use external mic, Again, that right there, center one, switch it off, and it's going to use the built-in mics. A lot easier, quicker, but it doesn't sound as good. Your choice. As long as you're in a good environment, like a small room that's got carpet and it's not too reverberant, it should sound pretty good. Now, you don't want to hold this most likely, so you want to put it on a tripod. Right here, this is where it screws onto a tripod. So, most tripods are going to be basically the same scheme going on. You loosen up each section. Okay, let out the legs. Now there's different types of tripods. Different ones have baskets and tilting heads, whatever. Now this particular tripod, did I get high enough? Sorry. I have to loosen a couple of things up, and it actually has a pedestal. It comes out like that. So I can fine-tune my height with that pedestal. I'm tightening down the collar, and right here the set screw that keeps the pedestal from sliding up and down. Now, this is a quick release plate. They're all a little different, but they all do pretty much the same thing. So, loosen all this up. The quick release plate might have a lock on it right there that keeps it from sliding around. If I loosen this lock up, quick release slides, but it won't pop off, right? That's a safety feature. On this one, I'm going to spin it around. This right here, I have to spin to get my quick release on and off. And what happens whenever I'm flipping this little switch, on this particular head, there's a little nipple that comes up and down there, and that's a retainer that keeps the quick release from sliding off. If your camera tilts, you don't lose it, right? Okay. They're all a little different, but if you do have a quick release on your tripod, take off the quick release, put it onto your camera. I'm going to take this 1/4-20, screw it in, and you can just get it straight on there, tighten it up pretty well. And from this point, you need to get a screwdriver, a dime, works really well, a set of keys. It doesn't have to be super tight, just snug it up a little bit. So now the quick release is tight to the camera. And I can now put it on, slide it on here, well. So now it won't come off, that little safety is catching it, but I don't want it to slide, so I come under here and tighten this up. So now the camera's nice and steady. So now I've got plugged up. This is set to auto on the right next to the rocker switch. Pull this open. I've already flipped it on by pushing it forward, and I've got my lens open. I'm going to zoom all the way out, and I'm going to set this one to internal microphone, switch, turn that to off. Also right here, if I can turn this and show you, there's a little button that says DISP, display. If I hit that button, it toggles the information. So if you don't see any information, you can hit that display button and it'll toggle it on and off. Okay, now I think this is pretty much what you'll need to just kind of get rolling. What I recommend is shooting a test video, watching it just to make sure everything's good. So here we go. I'm going to hit record. Check, check, check. If I'm by myself, I can't tell what's going on. I can take this viewfinder, flip it to me. Now I can see myself in there and know that, okay, I got it too low, I need to squat down, whatever. So I can see that this is where I need to be. All right. So after you shot your video, you need to get it, right? So it's inside of here. Don't open this door until you stopped recording. That's key one. And what I generally do is go ahead and just shut it off, and then See the screen, wait till everything stops. Now you can open up this door here on the side, and then there's two slots, slot A and slot B. Most of these are defaulting to A, but you know, whatever. So what you do is you take this, it's an SD card, and then I really apologize for this being such a... When you open it up, you're going to have different directories. What you're going to be looking for is go to private, AVC HD. Now this one has JVC because we also use this in a JVC camera, but you don't, that shouldn't be on yours. BD, MV, and stream. This is what you're looking for, stream. That's the actual video that you shot. So if I double click this, record. Check, check, check. That's the video that I just shot in there. So I can move this over to my desktop or whatever I want to do, and it's off of the card. And the next person now has a clean card. Don't forget to take your SD card and you know, put it back in here. Oops. So the graphics of the SD card go facing forward, goes in there, and you have to close that little door or else it will not record. Okay, hope that helps.